And he can't see anything.
Not gonna have eyes
Nice.
on the initial entry,
Nice.
but at least 2 out of 8
Oh!
there, make it 3 clean as can be. 1 more on the back side. They've got to push through towards
Really
the
well
opposite
done.
side.
Really well done.
Find it
Really well done.
Make it 3, just like that.
Wow.
Maybe an opening.
What is up, COD Mobile fans? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry we've been MIA. We were getting a little busy with the CDL starting up. New job for me. And since I got back from the first major, I've been really sick. So we've got Powerade today. Not coffee, but I gotta get in here and give you guys another breakdown because looking at the scores from the North American Stage 4 of what's going, or Season 4 rather, of the Snapdragon Pro Series is going on in Poland. I ended up coming across a really good game of Arsenal Hardpoint, which we really haven't broken down to this point yet. So I thought it'd be a fun one to kind of break into and give you guys a look in terms of how to play this particular Hardpoint map, as I'm sure it'll be pretty common over the course of the next coming months and weeks. Stuff like that. Also, I have not been keeping my eye across the global regions as much. So if there is a game out there that you were like, hey, Shift, this match was nutty, and you follow up and do an analysis on this particular matchup with this particular map, feel free to get in the comments right now and let me know what those things look like. Let's jump on in though and start digging into Team Mayhem playing up against the Rejects, which is of course the kind of former tribe team. This is again sitting up on Arsenal Hardpoint. So it'd be a pretty fun one for us.
Let's
just see what we got.
We have the same outcome here, or if
so really this opening Hardpoint right off the get-go, I don't particularly feel like one side is more favored than the other. You often see this, lots of smokes being placed, and that typically leads into what is often just a 50-50 Hardpoint. Eventually, obviously, you want to put yourself on the correct side of the map, which is over towards this right side so you can set yourself up for P2. But largely speaking, this opening P1, if you can find ways to get some control, which we're already kind of seeing here a little bit. Taking a look at this opening breakoff, this is already pretty good stuff for Team Mayhem. Like we talked about, the first part of the Hardpoint usually just hit with nades and smokes, things like that over the middle of the map. But you're going to see this opening play largely lead to wanting to get window control, which I always say is probably the preferred way to play this, because at worst, you're going to be kind of forcing your opponents to spawn towards the top side of the map, either on the left or the right. Doesn't make too much of a difference, but it gives you the opportunity to kind of control some sanction, which is right here at the middle of the map, allowing you to kind of from a free angle or a much safer angle, watch either of those two doorways. And you can see what Mayhem are doing with a couple of good kills to come through. Now we're going to try to push through a little bit, try to put some sort of a spawn flip into play. And at worst, now we know exactly where we're going to be able to manipulate reject spawns. So coming off of our own spawns, we can just pick up this doorway and hopefully find kills. So it's a clean idea in terms of how you want to try to set yourself up for the most amount of success possible on the first Hardpoint. Doesn't fully work out here, but still, you get a solid read and the kills are allowing them to get a lot of time. And then here you kind of see this last set of spawns. Look down the minimap real quick. Look what happens right here. Couple of kills. You've got number 4 pushing in. Remember, we talk about hard points. We're always looking to see what the status is through the middle of the map or the middle of the hard point. So because you've got players stretching forward, the game doesn't want to keep spawning rejects down here initially. So I think we get a little bit of a situation where it's like spawn 1, spawn 2, and then I think someone else spawns back. Take a look.
You do not want to take.
Yeah, there's one, there's 2,
like the way that
and then no one else is dead yet. So that's just, again, showing you how spawn manipulation can work with just a little bit of forward pressure. Good recovery, though, coming through the side of rejects. They get a read on all these bad spawns. You're going to try to flood this from the front, and the players that were, we kind of lost the minimap. And the players that were up here are going to wrap back just to make sure that they've got a solid line of defense over the front of this hard point. So good awareness here from Team Rejects to try to battle back after what was a very poor first hard point for them. So often in the first 20 seconds, what we often look for is to see, is there going to be a battle for the spawns? Remember, we had this long route come out from the players up here, come through from behind, and then they pushed extra far forward, and they missed a player getting in the back. Now you've got spawns in for Team Mayhem. This is great news. You can kind of see this route come through as soon as we get the minimap back up. I think it's number 4 in Cartels. Yeah, so he's in a good spot. Hardpoint spawns will open here because we've got 8 seconds left before the hardpoint actually opens. In that lock time, I like to call it. You've got a player deep, and because this player is all the way over here, you got to remember where our spawns are. Because the next hardpoint is open, this spawn is currently open. So that's what ends up happening. You get number 2 and Blur to spawn from behind. And even when the kill comes through, you can see that, yep, he spawns right back up again. And there should be some awareness here because someone spawned up here for rejects. So they should know that there should be a threat from behind. Hopefully they deal with this quickly. They need to. Now, there's an interesting conversation point about this hard point. In Black Ops 4, when this was a map, We often and pretty much always said that you want to be spawning back here and you want to be holding the hard point from things like this tower and playing like a contest spot. And if you can get someone into this top barrels position, you want to try to hold the hard point from here. Now, I know a lot of people in COD Mobile have actually been preferring to hold the hard point from the front, but I say regardless of which you prefer, you have to have this alley. This barrel alley, I think, is the most important part, because if you're trying to hold it from the top side and you don't have this under your control, you're going to get easily pinched where someone can just run up, get you kills, and then you're out. You're just completely screwed. On the other front, if you're playing this a little bit more on the back side of the hard point here, but you have this, now all of a sudden your only focus has to be towards defending anything that comes down through that front barricade right in the middle part of the map. The other part of the map that I always say is really important just to keep your eye on, and this is more of someone who spawns. If you spawn up somewhere back in this area and you know you've got teammates up here already, this player should be cutting through mid just to make sure there's no one pinching through cafe on this break attempt. The other thing can be told, if you're spawning over towards this part of the map and you've got teammates all up in here, you should be trying to control this and setting up another point of ingress. You don't have to necessarily position anybody over there, but that's what we call when someone gets off of a spawn, protect the pinch. That's what that person should be doing if you've got good awareness of where the rest of your teammates are. And you're kind of seeing that come through. I mean, we kind of missed the minimap, but you can see it right here. Boat comes out, 3 players are hitting over this. Blur comes off late. He should be trying to wrap behind this just to make sure. Teabag should also be trying to watch this. Raf should also be trying to watch. The messy moment here, all things told though, for Mayhem. Yeah, kind of same idea here. You see this? See this little funnel that's starting to come through? These players are not happy to be spawning here, by the way. This is not ideal. But you try to get someone around the back. Everyone else is trying to hit through the front. This is going to feel very familiar to the last that we just saw coming out of rejects.
Still only one more
And you can see the players on the hard point are having a hard time trying to lock things down for Mayhem. There's just so many players. Well done for Kings, but still, just again, so many mystery moments there of where this reject hit's coming from. So good hard point for rejects, all things told. Should be looking at a couple of specialists probably coming out here. Got a couple at the ready here. And you've got Mayhem on the rotation ready to go already. So yeah, this is a really good setup around 3. You know, we want to try to keep spawn somewhere back in this department. So you've got one player playing real deep on an island, just trying to make sure no one's cutting through this back cafeteria position. Really heads up play. And then you've also got players watching mid lobby pretty aggressively and someone watching a pinch. So you've got this, everything's really buttoned up and well done here as far as how you set up for your team Mayhem. The only thing that could surprise you at the moment is if there is a heavy-handed hit through mid doors, through lobby, and this player really can't deal with it. But if you get that information, you've got a player on the backstairs heady, you've got a player playing around trophy, that should be easy enough to deal with this. So really good setup here from Team Mayhem. Shouldn't need to spend anything operator-wise. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. This is what I'm talking about. Like, Raph just has to throw shoulders here. He doesn't have to do anything but just keep his life. Even better that he finds kills. And that's absolutely well done. Now, I'm curious here, why does this setup break down a little bit? I mean, I would have liked to have seen just maybe at worst, you've got Kings rotating all the way back. You just got 5 down. I would have liked to have seen him reinforce this. You should know that there's not going to be a spawn over here, so there's really no reason to defend this back alley push. But for him to go all the way back around gives way too much space, I think, towards any play that comes through here. Because often your spawns, if you're trying to break this hard point, it will either be in mid where P1 was, or it'll be up where P5 is. So there really isn't a route here unless someone takes a really scenic route to get around the back. So I would have liked to see him just reinforce here and have a kind of a 2-man hold this way, 3-man hold this way. That should have been fine, but it looks like it kind of breaks down a little bit. It doesn't help that Cartels drops late. Oh, and T-Bag doesn't find anything with the Sparrow. But yeah, now you can kind of see, look what's already happened. Because there wasn't a little bit more of a follow-up from Kings at mid, now you've got 3 players in, and that's enough to spawn number 3 and T-Bag all the way out. Now, I'll be curious to see what route T-Bag takes. He's got options here. He can come and wrap behind this, or he can wrap behind that. I think taking the first option is the safer and probably better option, especially considering that you did get at least 1 kill up here on the top side of the map. So I would like to see him take this route, but going this direction is not terrible either because it allows everyone else to focus on the front. So be curious. Good smoke placement here. It makes this really difficult for Kings.
Looking to lock things down with Annihilator.
And he can't see anything.
Not going to have eyes
nice.
on the initial entry.
Nice.
At least 2 out of it.
Oh!
There, make it 3. Clean as can be. 1 more on the back side. He's not missing until the last one, but that's where it counts most. And Rejects going to be able to break back on.
Well done. Really well done. That was a bold Annihilator, not going to lie. So good contest here from Rejects, considering as Thug, he's now got the Annihilator out. Does he find anything with this from the front, though? Oh, 2. Don't chow this. Nice. Well done, T-Bag. Well done. All right, that's all in all, that's a really good hold from Team Mayhem. I think they still got a little bit short-sighted. Again, kind of looking at what their setup was, where they had like this really good Iron Curtain defense. Actually, it was more like this. I really like that a lot because it forces really tough choke points. I just don't love that Kings rotates back all the way. I think you could have found similar value by just rotating in with his Annihilator here, but you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. We can't complain too much. Now we get over to our other middle hard point, I like to call it, this kind of artillery guns position, and kind of a similar situation. We talked about P1. I think if you've got window control and then you've got some sort of discerning control over your opponent's battery, you're going to win this hard point more often than not. If you can control spawns, that's it. You don't have to mix them up. You don't have to flip them around. But if you can just keep the spawns controlled and predicted, you're going to be in a good spot. So trying to win this middle window is important. And then let's just say from the perspective of Team Rejects, if you can just make sure that you're always in control of this barrel hallway, you should always spawn on the backside somewhere around here. You don't often see long routes coming around the back unless it's an exit from this hard point and your teammates are flooding this side. Then maybe 1 or 2 of these players will try to wrap around the back of this. That's an option because of the exit, but off spawn, this is often a, you know, if the blue team is still spawning down here, they're either going to hit from the front or they're going to try to hit through money window. Same situation, you're going to hit from the front or you're going to come out of cafe, try to hit through double doors. Not really much to break down in this hard point, and you are going to see that long route actually come through. So again, off the exit, trying to make things messy, they could wrap all the way around the back here. Really good read, honestly, all things told. Again, you've got players in position to try to deal with this. They don't get the first kill, but they're at least getting a read on this.
Will actually inevitably get shut down now.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
On the other side here for Mayhem, this is a huge investment to try and garner some of this time.
All right, so it's a good idea for Team Mayhem. Well collected by Rejects, though. It starts off, and it's helped a lot by the fact that the War Machine and the Sparrow both find some good value from the front. So Rejects off their second spawn know exactly where Team Mayhem are, and then everything stabilizes again. Okay, 15 seconds on the clock. We've got an early route being hit. After that failed attempt from Team Mayhem around the back to flip everything around and control the hard point with an off spawn, you're getting a route here by Cartels. He's just trying to get into P5 and seeing if he can flip spawns around to be over here. At least to start. We'll talk more about the P5 spawns here in a moment, but to start, you do want to spawn in the back. And it's found. Okay, Rejects, this is absolutely perfect for them. And you can see both teams are making moves. They both want to spawn back here over towards this Robo Bay. So you've got players exiting from Trophy in towards this particular spot over towards ramp and the back spawn. You've also got Cartels off his spawn trying to re-wrap around the back as well. Cartels has to stay alive. He just has to stay alive.
Big opportunity as Jez peeks over the
top
and wins it.
Now, the thing about the spawns for this 5th hard point is that eventually, about halfway through this hard point, you want to put yourself in a position to, right now, let's just take this from Rejects' perspective. They were spawning up here. Forget about what you see on the screen. Forget about all this. That's not important. If you can control these spawns for the first half of this hard point, eventually what you want to do is, with a good clean kill feed, push out through cafeteria, and now you want to control and manipulate spawns to where Team Mayhem are spawning back there so you can spawn trap them and have your backs wide open to get into P1. So there is a moment in this hill where you do not want to spawn back here, but for the first 30 seconds, you do. So let's just kind of keep that in mind. Mayhem do get a spawn south part of the map. Oh, these spawns are atrocious. Wow, I could not tell you. If we were just looking at these spawns right here, I couldn't give you a reason of why these spawns happen. Right here. Okay, that makes sense. Teammate spawns up. Okay.
See the hard point, and now that might
number 2. All right.
not change here as a quick break.
What? I don't understand.
Be devastating for Rejects.
No idea. Now you got a natural pitch. Number 4 cleans up 1. Someone should turn and find 5, and the spawns are just. There's no rhyme or reason for any of that. Man, we need spawns to get fixed. That's terrible. All right, so outside of the first 30 seconds of chaos spawns, now we've got a status to where if you're looking at this from Rejects' perspective, you need to get diner control, this cafe control. If you can get into the cafe, hold this, and make a bit of mess, Rejects, or pardon me, and if you can keep Mayhem from spawning in the back, you'll have the setup for going into new. Yeah, you can already see kind of off spawn. These players are not even bothering trying to rotate over. They just want to get control of P1 and just shut them down on this choke point. Heads up play here. It's going to be costly. There is still 14 seconds left in the hard point, but it's the right call if you're Rejects. You kind of lose something but gain a lot going into new. So you should at least get net even on losing the last 15 but gaining the first 15. Keeps you from getting snowballed. Good heads up discipline play. Oh, they have no idea. So this is a little bit too buttoned up right now if you're Rejects. They do have at least some idea that no one is coming in through diner side because there's a player there. But you could see with the claw being shot towards mid lobby, they thought S-Leg was in trouble. And now they don't know if it's vent. And so now you're starting to get to a point where everything's starting to get locked in a little bit, but this is very, very buttoned up. You would prefer to have players on the outside watching this, and then you would have players kind of ready to go here. That's the ideal setup, to where if you can control this window platform and you've got a player in towards lobby and you've got diner control, the spawns will have to be on the outsides. And then the players that are at mid, if they don't feel like there's a threat, they can wrap around the outsides and assist one way or the other. They can even come inside and assist if the threat is really imminent. So you use this as a pivot point, but you need to have outside skirmishers just to try to feel out where this hit's going to come from. And at the moment, Rejects don't really have that. So that claw kind of gets a little bit wasted. Jez is throwing desperate sparrow shots. This is not ideal at all.
Now we're seeing one come out from Kings.
Oh, the Kings with the Annihilator from behind. Holy. So that break is way too simple. This is great news for Team Mayhem. They can 50-50 the last 24 seconds if they want. Plus, they've got the ability to rotate. Oops, wrong color. They have the ability to rotate through if they want to, or they can just pinch this up, whatever they decide. I don't love that War Machine call from Robalo, by the way. It's just not, you're not going to really get much with this. He pulls it out right now. And he is number 1 in yellow. So he's like playing up the middle of the map. He gets 1 kill, 2 kills. That's it. I don't love that. I mean, you should just trust that your ARs can get the job done here over the top of these headies. Especially with trophy systems down, it's just not worthwhile. Yeah, really well done. Kings is playing really well in this game. Okay, so now the status is once again, we're playing with Team Mayhem from the back, Rejects from the front. The thing we're looking at, though, is what, class? We're worried about what's coming down this barrel alley, and right now you can tell Robalo here, Solo here. That is all in control of Rejects. So this should be a good moment for them. Yep, it's so quick. You can find so many kills from that position, and this is where things get dangerous. And this is why when I talk to people like Zim, other coaches like Hippo, they talk about wanting to play P2 from the front. It's because you can spawn trap, but the thing you have to remember is the only reason you're able to spawn trap is because you have this top hall control, this barrels control. If you don't have that and you're trying just to defend from inside the hard point against all of these angles, you don't have the support you need. So you have to be in a position to hold on to this hallway up here. Otherwise, it becomes very, very difficult. And now you're starting to see like a little bit of rampage go on because you've got the Annihilator out. Smoke is trying to cover to get Team Mayhem in, but this is good control here from Rejects.
The lead right here. Cartel's going to be able to find one to open things up. Solo is going to get done without of tower, and Wrath wins that big.
Now you've got hallway control for Mayhem. Look what happens. See what I mean?
Right here and retake the lead.
Yeah, but that was a big 30 seconds.
Like, if you've got that hall control, if you've got that top jump control, you could do wonders on this hard point. But it is all about, if you can control barrels, everything changes completely. All about barrels control. If you're an SMG player and you're looking to help your teammates that are already on the hard point or try to get in, put yourself on that barrel side. Get that barrels hall, you'll be good to go. All right, so you've got Rejects in first. Cartel, sneaky route. Surely not. How does he get 2? That makes a total mess of this setup. That's actually, I mean, that just shouldn't happen. I get it. You're Rejects. You're trying to get yourself in position. You got a long route around the back. Make sure you lock in flower spawns over here. But the fact of the matter is, everyone just rotated this direction. You didn't keep anyone up front. You didn't keep anyone over here, and you've got no one looking at vent. This is too passive. Watch this rotation. So what you're going to see is this. These players are going to go all the way that way. These players are going to go all the way that way. They don't leave anyone here. They don't leave anyone up here, or in here for that matter, and no one is looking at this vent push. That is a huge miss. Watch this rotation.
They might be better served going for
I think they go to fly over here in a second. You can see Jez all the way over this way. He's going long. Envy cut through mid. The other 3 players are all coming down the outside. You see what you kind of envision what I'm trying to say?
Straight back over.
Here we go. Perfect example of this. 3 players moving their way through this. 1 player in through this direction. 1 all the way. Actually, this all the way around. This is the rotation. And they are not leaving anyone forward in any of these positions, and no one watches vent. This is a huge mistake. Look at this.
Rejects.
No one. Absolutely no one staying behind.
Bit of an odd placement. Nobody ever checks the vents. Cartels. No
huge mistake. Sure, Rejects are in, but now you've got follow-up from Team Mayhem saying, hey, we know where they are. and we know they aren't. We can pop some of our operators. War Machine's gonna get called for blur. It's flushing out the back alleys. Smoke in. Kings for another double. Dude, Kings is so good. Really, really well done. Really well done. Really well done. Really well done. Wow. And again, that feels like it's not as much of a win as you would think it would be because of the kills. Largely because if you look into the hardpoint, rejects are still in. But rejects just missed out on 30 seconds. We're dealing with 34 on the clock. They just missed out on a lot of time off that setup. I still think that's a net W for Team Mayhem. Because now off your second spawn, you're doing the same thing. You're getting in your contesting time. Good from solo. And now spawns flip. So it really is. That whole front push, even though it doesn't feel like it should, even though it feels like it should have been a more convincing break, you still got rejects out. You foiled their whole initial setup. I mean, this third hardpoint, we expect whoever's there first to get 40 seconds. You just should. And really, Team Mayhem win that hardpoint. So now we're back to P4, same situation. Whoever's got window control is going to be good. Rabalo, War Machine's pretty desperate. Doesn't really work out for much of anything. I just don't love seeing blind War Machines. It is just trying to hit this all from front windows, never good. You never want to be in a spot where this setup, just to kind of look back on it because it was in third person, you had players from rejects on this side and on this side, and instead of trying to fight off because they're split spawning, instead of trying to fight off one side or the other, they end up both just collapsing off these spawns in towards front window. You had blind War Machine shots coming through, and then all it took was an equalizer to be popped and just spam. Just spam all the way in here. Just not a good break attempt here from Team Rejects. They eventually get it, but it's very costly. Good discipline from Raph.
25 seconds.
Huge kills.
You have to have it. Have to make sure you take Mayhem away from the kill. But
nice. Okay, rejects. Okay, really well done here. I like this a lot. So we're going to get a Sparrow pop, I think is what it was. But you get into this window control, and it's really hard to draw on this, I'm sorry, because everything's so small. But if you can keep control where your ARs are locking down this long lane, all you have to do is just kind of pick and poke with your SMGs from window side or from inside the middle of the hard point, and you're controlling both these alleys. Really, really well done. And it starts with number one, which I believe is Rabalo. He's the one that starts to find all the kills through this outer lane, and it allows his SMGs to find a handful of kills from the side. Go backwards here. Yeah, so you can kind of see it. Rabalo, he's just holding down the outside. Rabalo gets two. S-Thug from the inside gets two, and then, yeah, Sparrow to follow up. Really well done. Do you kind of see that? Let's watch that back one more time. Watch it kind of on the minimap. Number 3 is, we're looking for number 1, Rabalo. You're looking for number 4, S-Thug, and then Jez comes up. He's number 5. So look at number 1, locking down this outer lane. He's going to get a couple of kills here. There's kill 1. And there's kill 2. And then S-Thug, he's number 4. He's playing just inside window. He follows up, finds 2 on the inside area, and then number 5, Jez, able to follow up with the Sparrow right afterwards. Really well done. And now you can hit your rotation. Timing-wise, this is really, really good from the side of Rejects. So good follow-up there. Even though it was a messy breakthrough to the middle of the window, their first attempt, their second attempt, playing from barrel side and controlling the outside and inside lanes. Really, really well done. And wait a second, this is, what is this route? Wow, this is a huge play from Jez. He's just out front. He's got to read that, hey, if my teammates rotated back this direction, surely the rest of Mayhem have to be coming through the middle. So he's just trying to be a nuisance, but this is a long route to take. I'm surprised no one tried to cut through mid. And Jez just needs to stay alive. He just needs to be a problem. Yeah, really well done. It's a lot of time off the clock. All right, so we've got a focused hit from the front here from the side of Team Mayhem. One player did spawn here trying to wrap around the back, and the way that you're looking at how Rejects are going to deal with this is that they're just waiting to... This guy's just playing a creddy corner, is what we like to call this in regular COD, where he's just sitting in a corner, waiting for someone to cross, get the free kill. That's all that position is.
Team Mayhem cannot find any semblance of map control.
Where does Rejects spawn here, though? They spawn kind of in the same position. Oh, that's just too quick. Jez gets a little bit caught off, so now you've got a neutral hard point, fight for spawns. This is messy.
This Reject squad, Annihilator still yet to be dealt with, and there's S-Thug able to find a kill, but the trades go through.
War Machine from the front.
War Machine for himself. He's going to be able to hop
yep, this would just all be about making sure no one comes through Cafe.
But there's nobody close by for the Rejects, and he's not able to connect.
This is messy.
Right there.
Now, the call's being made from the side of Team Rejects that no longer on the clock can Team Mayhem win here. So off the one spawn we start to see from Jez, he's going to take an early route. This is desperate, but it is the right idea.
big gunfights be going
Oh,
on
and
right
Envy's
now. 15
late
seconds
claw
left
to
on
get the
this
scrap
hill.
time is
As
massive.
far as the end of this game.
Now, this should be fireworks here at the end.
For the rest of the
This
team
is all
to
about winning the gunfights, and just once again, no one's up top at window here. They're trying to set up this control here and here, but no one's looking at window. And you have to remember that even though there are spawns up the top side, we should know for sure that there are spawns down here as well throughout that last hard point. So as much as we credited Jez for coming off this spawn and rotating this way early, the same was done by the tier Mayhem members that came off this direction. Now they're in window.
Trying not to give up the lead, but can't find
Equalizers from the front.
Hardpoint solo gonna be able to clear things off with an
Spend
equalizer
everything.
in hand,
Really,
and
really well
nobody's
done.
Looking to push right here. Maybe finally an opportunity to push through the backside with the War Machine.
Did they get there?
Shut down by the trophy, and
Wow.
it's too late.
That got close.
Not gonna make a difference.
Wow, that got really, really close. So yeah, I mean, the Arsenal's a weird one because the spawns are not very good. But at the same rate, there are only so many options that you have at given moments in time when it comes to how you want to play around the map. And very regularly, 1 or 2 kills don't go your way, and that changes the entire outcome for the entire hard point. I think we especially saw that on P4. Rabalo did a great job holding out the outer lane, letting your SMGs focus on the front. And then that last rotation, it looked messy for a moment, but a couple of the key kills come through for the SMGs to clear out both the angles, and then also the follow-up onto the window players. Really, really well done. You hit everything with operators after that, and you're good to go. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a look into how to maybe set yourself up around the hard points and the hills in particular for Arsenal. Really fun game. I didn't get a chance to watch much of that live, but I'm glad we went back and did that. So again, make sure in the comments below you guys let me know what you want to see next, and hopefully we'll kind of keep them coming more regularly. Sorry for the irregular posts, but we'll try to get a couple out a week as we get closer and closer towards Brazil and things of that nature. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time, and bye-bye.